your St. Patrick's Clash main event of the evening. 10 rounds of action for the vacant IBF Intercontinental Lightweight Championship. Supervising from the IBF at ringside, former heavyweight contender from Richmond, New Jersey, Randy Newman. And your referee in charge of the action once the bell rings, Mr. Leo Gerstel. Introducing first, coming out of the red corner, wearing black trunks and weighing in a trim and ready, 134 pounds. His outstanding record, 21 victories with 6 defeats and 14 big wins, coming by way of knockout. He comes to us from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Please welcome Marcos El Tigre Jimenez. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner to my right, wearing green and weighing in at 134.5 pounds. His outstanding record reads 20 victories, only 2 defeats with 11 big wins, coming by way of knockout. He's a former WBO European champion from Dublin, Ireland. Please welcome Stephen
Ready, Brennan? It's main event time here at the House of Blues in Boston. 10 rounds of boxing for the IBF Intercontinental Lightweight Championship. Dublin, Ireland, Stephen Ormond entering this fight with a record of 20 wins against 2 losses, 11 knockouts, takes on San Juan, Puerto Rico's Marcos Leonardo Jimenez, who entered this fight with a record of 21 wins against 6 losses, 14 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Very significant fight, Brennan, as the IBF Intercontinental title is on the line. The winner more than likely finds a top 10 spot in the IBF rankings in the lightweight division. A lot is on the line here tonight for both of these fighters.
Definitely a big night for both fighters, and I know the last time that we saw him was in Melrose a few months back. He looked very sharp, and let's see what his opponent brings to the table tonight.
We know more about Ormond than we do Jimenez. Ormond looked very sharp when we last saw him in Melrose, as you mentioned. I must say, just looking at the body of each of the two fighters, Jimenez carries a rather large frame for a 135-pound fighter.
I agree, actually. When he entered the ring, there was quite a weight there before Ormond came in, and I was looking him over, and he definitely looks like tonight. I wouldn't doubt it if he was in the high 140s. I mean, he looks like a very, very big guy.
Earlier tonight, we saw a Puerto Rican fighter against an Irish fighter in Carlos Candelario against Matt Doherty. The Puerto Rican fighter, Carlos Candelario, won here on St. Patrick's Day weekend. Can Leonardo Jimenez upset the St. Patrick's Day of Stephen Ormond? We'll find out round 1 of the scheduled 10-rounder underway.
Look at how big he looks. Such broad shoulders, man. The guy, unbelievable. Looks like a welterweight.
He is a tall, lanky 135-pounder for sure. And I don't know if I should say lanky. Tall, but just a built lightweight.
I can't believe that yesterday he weighed 134 pounds.
You fight a weight division higher than these guys, Brandon. He's got a lot of size on you as Ormond lands some left hands. Looks like they were mostly caught on the forearm of Jimenez.
I was thinking the same thing about weight. I fight at 140, and this guy supposedly is smaller than me. Obviously on the scales, but not so much in the ring.
He's got that rehydration thing really down to a science, I bet.
Yeah, I think he knows what he's doing for sure. Very, very relaxed out there. Neither fighter has really let any punches go with any pop on them, as they're both feeling each other out.
As if we had to say it, it's Ormond in the green trunks and Jimenez in the black trunks. Good work to the body by Stephen Ormond. Ormond with Steve Collins and Packy Collins in his corner. And Ormond essentially winning the first round thus far based on activity.
I remember being very impressed back in Melrose with Ormond's hand speed, and it looked like punching power that he possessed that night. Again, different opponent here in front of him tonight, much larger man. Let's see if his power has any effect during this match.
Puerto Rico, a place with a rich boxing history. Miguel Cotto, Felix Trinidad come to mind. But it's also a place where you can build a record to some degree. I remember a fighter who was an 11-0 came to New England a few years ago named Miguel Soto to fight Ryan Kilzeski, and his wins were built up against absolutely nobodies, and it was abundantly clear very early on when Ryan Kilzeski, not known as the biggest power puncher, just absolutely annihilated him with a left hook that got in ESPN's top 10 on SportsCenter that night.
That was a big win for Ryan because that was his ESPN debut at Rockingham Park. I was there for that as well. And going into that, I actually got caught up in the hype of Soto's record of 11-0, but it became apparent very early on, again, the quality of opponents that his wins were against.
Opening round clearly won by Stephen Ormond, and as the round comes to a conclusion, Jimenez puts his hand on the back of Ormond's head as if to say, good job, which I found interesting. Crowd really hyped up here at the House of Blues in Boston. Prior to this main event, the Dropkick Murphys played a 3-song set. Now, you mentioned that Jimenez looked very patient in there in round one, which he did. But he didn't really throw many punches, and certainly none of any substance. And I don't think he landed anything.
I think that he probably was using the first round as a complete feel-out round, just getting comfortable here. You know, they were in the locker room a long time, you know, fighting the main event tonight. It's midnight. You know, he probably just had to get going. And let's see what he's got for round two. There we go. He's throwing some harder, crisper punches this round. Nice body shot by Ormond.
Is going to the body really what you want to do, fighting a shorter opponent, if you're Jimenez?
Well, I think that you can't discredit any fighter for going to the body at any time during the fight if it's effective. Body punches take a toll on a fighter, especially throughout a lengthy fight such as this one with 10 rounds. And the way Ormond's defense is, you know, his head really isn't much of a target. So with his elbows wide like that, I can see why he'd be going to the body.
In the limited output of punches we've seen from Jimenez thus far, it is abundantly clear that Ormond has superior hand speed.
This is the hand speed that I remember in Melrose here in the second round. I remember being very impressed by his hand speed.
And given the size disparity between the two fighters, it's unlikely Ormond really puts Jimenez away, but he could break him down over a series of time due to an accumulation of shots, and I'm starting to see the beginnings of that.
I was thinking that too, especially with the accuracy and the body punches, and once you get the hands to drop, then he'll go upstairs, and he's so fast that there's really not a whole lot you can do about that.
And I haven't seen anything come from Jimenez that would make Ormond think twice about coming forward so far.
I agree.
Hasn't been anything on those punches, and nothing's really landing cleanly either.
I think it's quite apparent that Ormond is world-class hand speed and boxing ability. I mean, if he gets through this fight with a victory, I mean, it's very obvious. I think he's ready for the big stage, and like you said, would be in the top 10, possibly in the IBF.
Terrence Crawford recently leaving the lightweight division to move up to junior welterweight. Kind of a wide open field at 135 pounds on the world stage.
Timing is everything in boxing, and you know, the stage might be set for guys like him to jump in. Now that you said Crawford moved up.
Round two coming to a conclusion. Another good round for Stephen Ormond, the Dublin native here on St. Patrick's Day weekend.
much respect between these two. Again, another exchange of smiles and head rubs after the bell rings of round 2.
Can we take this time in between rounds to comment on our 3 ringside judges tonight, Ken Volovic, Gene Del Bianco, and John Madfis, ladies and gentlemen. I never knew that John Madfis had such sweet dance moves in him that we saw earlier tonight during the Dropkick Murphy set and subsequent music playing over the loudspeakers. John Madfis, if you're watching this broadcast back at home, we admire your dance moves. We admire your willingness to rock out the show. And we like the fact that even though you're working, in between fights, you're having fun.
And I was glad to see that, and I took the opportunity to record some of that on my phone.
Did you really?
I do. I have copies
I can't
of that.
wait to relive that later.
Definitely. I'll post that later on social media so everybody can enjoy it.
John Madfis is a world-class judge, as a matter of fact. He's done some big fights overseas. He's a Massachusetts-based judge and a very credible one at that. We're glad to have him working as a ringside judge tonight.
One thing I noticed, too, is that he was... no discrimination on the music that was playing.
It was the punk rock, it was the hip-hop, he was into it all.
And he even tried to get one of the females there in the front row to dance a little with him.
He was good company when I broadcast a fight in Worcester a few years ago that Jose Antonio Rivera was the headliner in. Round 3 between Stephen Ormond and Marcos Leonardo Jimenez here in Boston right now. Nice right hand by Jimenez. That's probably his best punch of the fight, but he didn't really get a lot of leverage on it. Didn't really do any damage whatsoever to Ormond. That left hand, that's his best shot now, but once again, I don't see him using his wiry frame to really get a lot of leverage on those shots and do much damage.
Not a lot of snap on the punches. And, you know, you have, not knowing much about him, it's hard to decide what the reasoning behind that is, but it could be because he is just such a big man and may have left it all, you know, in the sauna or in his weight cutting process to make 135 and feels flat tonight. Either way, definitely not a lot of pop on his punches.
Stephen Ormond having a big round 3. The accumulation breakdown continuing here in round 3 that we saw starting to come to fruition in round 2.
Ormond's doing a little bit of head hunting and he's having a hard time touching the target. I think he needs to go back downstairs, break down the body a little bit more. Worry about the head later. Fight that the Polish Prince could be taking a close look at. Although this is the weight class above him, you know,
this is 2 or 3 weight classes above him at this point.
The weight is
Ryan's 122 to 126 at this point.
He was 130.
He was for a while, but he seems to have really gotten comfortable at featherweight.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, 3 rounds in the books, and 3 rounds, as far as I can tell, all for Stephen Ormond.
confusion there in the corner. Not sure what the ref was having an issue with, but either way, we're underway.
This is round 4 of a scheduled 10-rounder.
Kind of hanging out in the pocket, exchanging power punches. Really nice left hook there. Ormond's really landing some nice body shots. Also going upstairs, you can see the head movement slowing down there, and now Ormond's able to hit the mark a little better. Like I was saying earlier, go to the body more. I think he has.
We don't have any statistics here that support this, but I think that Ormond's got to be outlining him like 15-1 at this point.
I was just going to say the same thing, definitely.
And now it's really starting to have an effect on Jimenez. You could see it in Jimenez's body language. He's almost ready to go. It's just a systematic breakdown from Stephen Ormond.
Really landing at will. You can see the ref is kind of stepping in closer and closer to pay attention to what happens here.
I mean, this is a title fight. Jimenez doesn't look like he's in any trouble of going. He wobbled briefly, but this is a lot of punishment he's taking. A lot of clean shots. At this juncture, it would be premature to stop it. However, Leo Gerstel's a veteran official. He knows that he has to keep an eye on this as it continues.
You know, sheer toughness is something that all fighters need to have, but I've always said when it's your only tool, it ends up being a disadvantage to yourself because, you know, taking punishment is not a good thing.
And you mentioned earlier, the snap on the punches, the leverage. You just don't see it from Jimenez.
Into round 5 here, I can only imagine that Ormond's corner is telling him that, you know, this fight is getting close to the finishing stages. If he keeps up the pressure and maybe pick it up a little bit more, I could see this fight ending a little early.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is round 5, scheduled to have the IBF Intercontinental Lightweight title. Get your Irish shot for Stephen Ormond and Marcos Jimenez.
I haven't seen Jimenez show any of the timing or power that would really be necessary to do some damage to Stephen Ormond to turn this fight around thus far.
No,
Let's see if he can pull anything out of his bag of tricks.
I haven't really seen him even show the desire to try.
Upstairs, downstairs, downstairs, upstairs for Stephen Ormond. Tries to sneak in some uppercuts with the left hand. Left hand upstairs, courtesy of Ormond. Left hand to the body. Sneaks in a right uppercut.
Nice body shot.
And those left hands to the body are landing and landing hard for Stephen Ormond. That right uppercut snapped the head back a little bit of Jimenez. Mouthpiece is falling out.
Yeah. It's only a matter of time for one of those body shots landed correctly. Is that Ormond's mouthpiece?
It's an Irish-looking mouthpiece, which leads you to believe it's the Irish fighter, but...
And the noises he's making out of his punch noises out of his mouth sound different now. I don't think... I think that's Ormond's mouthpiece.
Soccer chants begin here at the House of Blues in Boston.
Although those body shots sound loud and look very effective, they are hitting the arms for the most part, but one of those will sneak through sooner or later. Coming to a close, and I think we saw a lot of the same this round as we did the previous rounds.
If you're the corner of Jimenez, what you tell him is we've reached the midway point of this fight, and he's clearly lost every round.
It's like we're watching a replay of the previous rounds here. Ormond just coming forward, throwing fast, upstairs, downstairs, upstairs, downstairs.
Nice left hand to the body by Ormond. Not much in the offensive arsenal for Jimenez. Can you imagine if CompuBox was keeping punch stats of this fight?
I can't imagine this is the type of fight he prepared.
Can you imagine if this fight was being scored in the old amateur system of counting punches?
Oh my goodness.
How long ago would have the mercy rule been in effect?
You know, it's tough to show up 100% every night, but you know, and maybe this is just an off night for him. Again, we don't know much about him, but I just can't imagine this was the game plan. You know, but we never really got to see anything but this. This has been his consistent performance for every round. It's got to be frustrating for his corner. It has to be frustrating for Ormond, really. I mean,
yeah, Ormond's throwing everything he has, but he just can't stop him or really rock him.
Can't stop him, and he isn't landing real clean punches. Some are, some aren't. But again,
Round 7 about to begin. IBF Intercontinental Lightweight title is at stake. This one is scheduled for 10 rounds. Did he triple or quadruple up on that left hand there, Brandon?
I think he's just trying to get anything going. It's effective. That might work better than what he has been doing. And although he looks like an easy target, again, a lot of these shots that Ormond's landing are on the elbows, the arms, the gloves, grazing the head. They're not landing super clean like some of them may look. Third round that we both said that looked like Ormond had him hurt, but since then I haven't really seen him in trouble.
Just that one moment, and came and went rather quickly. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. Left hand, left hand, left hand. The ropes are a friend to Jimenez right now. He's using them. Ormond punctuates that round with a series of punches. Can Jimenez survive another round of this? So we're now in round 8.
This almost reminds me of that title fight that Mickey Ward had, where he literally didn't do much for the first 7 or 8 rounds on the end of that one shot. Commentators are falling asleep.
It was a left hand to the body that Mickey Ward was able to land.
Who was that fight against? Was that Shane Neary, or was that?
It was not Shane Neary. It was an undefeated prospect who was Spanish, whose name is escaping me right now. Shane Neary was who Mickey Ward won his minor title over in England. Alfonso Sanchez. Good thing the House of Blues Wi-Fi is good enough for Brandon Barry's cell phone.
That's right. But either way, that's the type of fight this reminds me of. We haven't seen much out of him, but...
Does Jimenez have that magic in him? Everything but short of a knockout, this has been the performance that Stephen Ormond wanted to put forth for these fans here in Boston on St. Patrick's Day, with him being the native of Dublin, Ireland. More of the same, more of the same. Another round in the books for Stephen Ormond here in Boston.
Curious as to what is being said in the corner. If they're trying to encourage him, if they're asking him what's going on, if this is what they expected.
Telling them, let him out of the cage.
Come on. Come on.
One more round to go, ladies and gentlemen. Here's what we're going to do in the final round, Brennan. We're going to keep track of how many punches actually land courtesy of Jimenez and how many land courtesy of Ormond. Because this is a 9-round rout from Stephen Ormond thus far, thoroughly outclassing Marcos Leonardo Jimenez. This ring card girl looks like she's having a lot of fun.
Gave you a thumbs up. She just gave you a thumbs up. Looking at you, she's not looking at me.
Was she just giving you some love, Brandon?
She was giving this dude a thumbs up. So.
To your right?
Yes.
She looks like she's having fun out there. She looks like a fun girl.
Last round. All right.
There we go.
Keep track how many punches.
You keeping track of Ormond's punches?
All right, I will.
I'm keeping track of Jimenez.
Landed punches.
Landed punches, not thrown. We're talking landed. I don't think I'll have much of a count from Jimenez, unless something
So if you land them on the gloves,
doesn't count.
Does not count.
I'm counting one having landed from Jimenez thus far, but it didn't really land too much. That one was partially blocked. I won't count it. Okay, that's one to the body. We'll go with 3 for Jimenez so far. Clean landed punches. How many has Ormond landed so far, Brandon?
I'm at 4.
Okay. He can open up and make it double at any point, though.
And I could be wrong. I might not be good at this.
Well, there we go.
So I'm at 9 now.
I'm at 5 for Jimenez. And that wasn't a landed
9
punch.
to 5 is about as close as it's been so far this fight, I think.
That was a landed inside of the forearm from Jimenez moments ago. Jimenez is looking over at his corner. At this point, they got to say, hey, we've only got 2 minutes and something seconds left. Might as well go the distance, right?
I agree.
What are we at now?
I'd say 16 or 17.
You're losing track. It's the Stephen Ormond show.
20.
Stephen Ormond is the Harlem Globetrotters, and Jimenez is the Washington Generals.
You're right. I'm at 25.
Stephen Ormond is Macho Man Randy Savage. Jimenez is Special Delivery Jones.
Did Ric Flair ever beat Hulk Hogan?
I'm thinking. I'm not sure he did.
Same scenario.
Flair must have a win over Hogan somewhere, right?
He deserves one. I have officially lost count, but I know it's in the mid-30s somewhere.
It's a nice forearm landed by Ormond.
That was nice.
The famous Starrcade 94 match I know Hogan won.
I saw Hogan beat Ric Flair in Bangor.
Probably one of many Hogan wins over Ric Flair. Well, this fight is going to come to a conclusion. And if any judge found it in their hearts to give a round to Jimenez, I would want them to explain themselves when they look back at the tape. Nevertheless, a solid performance from Stephen Ormond. He is more than likely going to be the winner of the IBF Intercontinental Lightweight Championship in a matter of moments, as he looked sharp, hand speed, as quick as always, accurate with his punches. Doesn't have that one punch knockout power to really do any damage, but an accumulation of shots landed up and down the body and head of Jimenez tonight.
Obviously in great condition to go 10 rounds at that pace.
And also the much bigger size of Jimenez may have had something to do with him being able to withstand all of the punishment dished out by Ormond and Ormond's inability to really get him in much of any trouble. As Stephen Ormond gets out of the ring onto the stage around the ring to give some love to the fans.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I announce the winner, have a nice round of applause once again for Marcos Jimenez and Steve Ormond. After 10 championship rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. All three judges, G. Del Bianco, Ken Bolovic, and John Madden, see the same, 100-90. All two winner by unanimous decision. And now the IBF Intercontinental Lightweight Champion,
Well, no explaining will be needed by the officials. They had it exactly the way me, Brandon, and everyone else in this building saw it. 10 rounds to none for Stephen Ormond, a rout over Marcos Leonardo Jimenez. Ormond now is 21 wins, 2 losses, 11 of his 21 wins by way of knockout, and is the new IBF Intercontinental Lightweight Champion. For everyone here at the House of Blues in Boston, on behalf of Murphy's Boxing, my broadcast partner Brandon Barry, our cameraman Clay Thompson, I'm Peter Zimbor. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.